All right, so we are back on the R32. As you may have remembered, I did not have the proper tool in order to undo the oxygen sensors. So most oxygen sensors, a lot of times, I mean, I had plenty of tools that were like 7/8, you know, ½ inch, all that, but I did not have a 17 millimeter. I have never seen or needed a 17 millimeter oxygen sensor tool. But, so now I am set. So it was a good excuse in order to get some new tools in, and so we are set. But the thing is so obviously the R32 has a front and a rear oxygen sensor behind the turbos. And so what I did is I bought basically an entire set. So hopefully it has everything in here that I'm going to need from this point forward. But it did have a 17 mil O2 sensor socket. So, but the unfortunate thing is, instead of having to undo all the plugs, especially out of this, which is kind of a pain, I could do it, but I'm like, eh. So especially when it's kind of far down in there, you don't want to have to put all the pins back. So what I did is I barely slice this. It does, obviously it weakens this a little bit, but I think there's enough there that it shouldn't be a problem. So I split that right there, fold this wire over like this, boom, and now we can put our socket in, twist that thing in there, and be good. Whoops. Boom, just like that, and be good to go. So hopefully it doesn't start to spread. If it does, I can always put a collet around here to help hold it while I'm putting it in. So we've got a little bit of digging in we've got to do in order to access these. Got a chance to glance at it just a bit. So we've got I think the rear is going to be a little easier than the front. So let's dig into that and see exactly what we need to do. But first off, let's grab you always have to have two headlights. I always have two in case, because I'm usually working on something for hours and hours. All right, I know I look like a nerd, but you know what? I don't care. These are the handiest things in the world. So you need to glance at this and see what we've got. And I think that is going to be a little bit of a booger to get out. So what we're going to do is, those things have been in there. They look like they've been in there obviously since the car was new. Sorry as I blind you. So we're going to put a little liquid brake. I don't know if you call it liquid brake, or a little bit of penetrating stuff in there, and let's see what we got here. Just to get it ready to go, let it sit in there just a bit. That's not going to be easy to squirt in there. Here we go. They need to put really long deals on these so you can reach way down in there. Maybe that's a new product. I could take this strut bar out, but I'm not, because I'm lazy. So now we should have a relatively straight on shot to this oxygen sensor here. Oh, got it. Keeps coiling up around my socket. Holy cow. Ah, look at that. She is out. Whoo. Yeah, there we go. It's a little rusty. Doesn't look too bad, actually. I mean, I think I burgered it up a little bit pulling it out, but oxygen sensors are one of those things that you can't really look at them and tell kind of if they're good or bad. You can test them. Okay, now let's throw this one over here and let's get the front one we got right here. Try to do this without messing it up. So as you can see here, I dented the one coming out, so hopefully we can get this one. And one thing I'm going to do too is I'm going to put a little bit of anti-seize on here. Some people Don't like using anti-seize, especially on O2 sensors, but I think it's okay. So let me get a little bit of anti-seize on here. Put a little bit on my finger. You want to make sure you don't get anything on the upper sensor itself, but we're just going to put a little bit of anti-seize right there. You don't want to use too much, just enough, just to help that little guy out. Once again, I will preface, I am not the best mechanic, nor do as I do, because I kind of do things on the fly a little bit, and those of you out there that have worked on R32s or cars in general, you know, I don't do things always the right way, and so certainly in the comments below, let me know if there's some way I can do this better the next time around. Hopefully there is not a next time on this car, but if there is, certainly let me know. But like I said, I'm not the best mechanic. It takes me 20 times longer to do anything that a competent mechanic would do. But I like to do this. This is really what I enjoy doing. I love working on cars. I've never worked on an R32 before. Well, heck, I've never worked on a Skyline before, any variant of a Skyline. So, but I love this. I just love learning and figuring things out like this. And granted, O2 sensors, not a super hard job. So those of you that know these cars, you're thinking, oh my gosh, I could do that in my sleep, which many of you out there, probably all of you out there could do this in your sleep. So like I said, I'm a little slow, a little dangerous, but like I said, I just really enjoy just doing these types of things. So we're actually going to strap this one down. I had an issue pulling this back one out. I had a little bit of an issue of it. My modification on this in order to feed the wires through. It works well for doing this, but to be able to pull it out, this one was really stuck in the back, so it started to spread that gap out a little bit. So we're putting a hose clamp on it, which did the job on this rear one. So now we can get it in there a little bit tighter. Even in this first one, we'll do the same thing on this first one a little bit and get it in. Okay, let's grab our tools off of our mat here. One thing that I've learned is sometimes I will get in a hurry working on a car. And the older I get, I'm an old man now, so there's little things I've picked up throughout the years. But many of you young bucks out there, men and women, have probably worked on a car, and you leave a wrench at the top, you leave a wrench in the seam here, and you go to close the hood, and bam, and yeah, it's not good news. So I'm always very cognizant now, looking around, because a lot of times, I mean, you know how you start working, you start laying tools down, this and that, you end up dropping tools down. And so one time, real quick story, one time I was working on a car, and I dropped the tool down, and it was, I'm not kidding, it was an hour job, and it took me 3 hours to get the tool out that I dropped. So like I said, I'm not that great of a mechanic. I do things kind of fast in a hurry, and as I say that, there is a hose clamp right here that I did not get. We would have found that out pretty quick, because that one's kind of important. I think we are ready to start this thing up. So pull my mat off on the side, and we're not going to close the hood yet. We're going to go ahead and fire it up, see how it goes. But let me wash my hands first. The car was not warm when I first brought it in. We just basically pushed it in real quick, so it will need a warm up. I always like to warm cars up. Just, you know, I'm pretty easy on cars. Once everything gets warmed up and good to go, then I will drive them as they need to be driven. But so like I said before, this car, my R32, had a little bit of a dead spot at about 3,000 RPM, 2,800. So those of you out there that know these cars really well, please, I need all the help I can get. So please put down on the comments section, you know, if you think the O2 sensor, we're going to find out here, but if they don't, let me know what else you think it might be. Obviously, you know, I'm going to get online and kind of do a little bit of research, but once again, this is my first R32, so playing around with it, but I love this car. You guys are going to hear that a lot about this car, but you know, this car has 198,000 kilometers on it. Came out of Japan, and shut it off here so we don't kill ourselves here with carbon monoxide, but I absolutely love this car. It drives like a brand new car. I thought, you know, I'd never driven one before, and so, you know, I thought, well, you know, it might drive, you know, the doors might creak, it might creak here and there, you know, little things. I mean, it's a 1993, you know, I've driven plenty of 93 Nissans and cars from, obviously from that era. I've got several, but you know, they all have the little quirks, but this is the first car from the early 90s that I've jumped in and I've like blown away. It drives, it tracks down the road. There's no squeaks, no rattles. The doors close nice and solid. It is just a really solid car, and now this is gonna sound crazy, it kind of reminds me a little bit of a good 911, like an early, like in the 90s 911, where the doors just ka-thunk, they close tight, the suspension's tight. Not quite as good, but darn close. I am really, really impressed with this car, especially given the miles, which is just, I cannot wait to just rack the miles up on this thing. So what am I doing talking when we could be out driving? There we go, temperature's up. So we're gonna take a little back road here. Here we go. I can tell already it drives better. I'm not gonna rip on it quite yet here. About 4,000 RPM. We'll lay into it smooth and slow here. It's much better. I can tell there's no hesitation. 3,000 RPM. Doesn't want to drop off. Yeah, before it just felt like there was just, you know, if you're watching the tack and accelerating, it just kind of just died off right there at about 3,000, 2,800 to 3,000. And obviously we're over that right now, but we'll dip the RPM back down. Slow down and do a third gear pull just from about 2,000 RPM here. We'll go through the area that it was kind of hesitating. So here we go. We're at about 2,100. So here we go. Foot to the floor, third gear. Yeah, no problem at all. Oh yes. I don't want to get too excited. Don't want to get too excited until I get some miles on it, but I'm pretty certain that one of the O2 sensors was going bad. Whether the front one or the rear one, I'm not sure, but oh man, I'm so excited. Now I can, you know, when there's just one little, not that that's a little thing, but when there's just something not right with your car, it just, you still enjoy driving it, don't get me wrong, but when your car is running 100%, it's a good day. Nothing beats that. It's just, nothing gets better than that. Yeah, oh man. It never ran that good. It never ran that good. Oh, R32 is back in business. Oh yeah. Woo! Now many of you have seen much faster R32s. This car, once again, I'm talking and driving, I need to pay attention, but This car is primarily stock. You know, once again, a lot of miles on it, but it does have, you know, we did take it, so a little bit increased boost, I should say. It does have a Tomei, I believe that's how you pronounce it, Tomei exhaust system on it, and their new version of their equal length downpipe. So, and no catalytic converter, so the cat has been deleted. But it's just a fantastic car. So it is a little bit noisier. I haven't gone completely overboard though. So, but I still love a good exhaust, especially a really good sounding exhaust. And this exhaust system on this car, it does sound really good. It's not too loud. And you'll notice here too, I do have the rear view mirror out. It was delaminating so bad I couldn't tell if it was a truck or a car behind me. So anyway, I pulled it out, and as many of you out there have been ordering JDM parts or just parts from Japan or any import place in general, parts are out of stock. But I'm kind of getting used to not having a rear view mirror. I kind of like the wide stance, the wide view, and it makes me use my side mirrors a lot more. And I'm kind of like, that's all you need. All you need are the side mirrors. You don't need a rear view mirror taking up you're right in the middle. There's some parts I have. For example, I do have a 2018 Ford GT, and the mirror sits too low. And so, especially in Arkansas, when you're coming around a corner, you're climbing the hills, and you come around a corner and you got to move up. That mirror is like right in your way. That is going to be one thing where a modification we are going to do fairly quickly on the Ford GT is it's going to pains me to move the mirror or do something. Hopefully it's going to be an easy modification that we can do. But anyway, back to this car. I am thrilled. So really, really thrilled. All right, so now we got the R32 all buttoned up and running exactly the way it should. So hopefully it stays that way. But I'm going to show you what $30, the best 30 bucks I have spent besides a nice meal, is this case right here. I just picked this up. There was an old antique store that was going out of business here in town, and literally I was walking down the sidewalk and went in, and I am a sucker for old display cases. This one's a little rough, but it took him a while. At first he didn't think they had the key, so it does come with the key, which is a huge plus. The back wall is broken though, so I'm going to replace the glass in it. But as you guys will find out, I have like a bazillion slot cars, and I love slot cars, modifying slot cars, and that's a whole nother thing. But I bought this because I have them all upstairs, and they're laying all over the place. Most of the time they're on the track and this and that, but I really needed to have a display case for various slot cars. So you can see here I collect 120 or 132nd, 124 scale as well up there. So I am going to turn this into a slot car case. Now it does come, you know what? I was so excited when I first got it. I ran upstairs and grabbed a bunch of cars, and so I want to see, you know how this, you know, when it's, I just love things under glass like this. So it comes with like 8 of these shelves. So we're going to cut some more of these shelves, but I got to see what it's going to look like. Maybe put some lights in here. Oh yeah. I don't know what it is about like toy cars in display cases. Oh yeah, look at that. That's going to be awesome. Now, granted, it has to be cleaned up. I got my vacuum here, so I'm going to vacuum it up. And then I got to decide what color I'm going to paint it, like a gray or red or something. I don't know. And maybe we'll do kind of a cool logo or something at the top. Maybe we'll say like Ferrari, Porsche, Lamborghini or something around the sides. But for $30, now granted, I'm going to probably have $150 in additional glass because it came with 8 or 6 or 8. And so I'm going to probably put them about every 8 inches. So the next time you guys see this, hopefully it will be, obviously it's going to be vacuumed and clean, but hopefully I can get a fresh coat of paint on this. Additional shelves, I think I'm going to need, oh my gosh, probably about 20 shelves in this thing. So anyway, we're going to be doing all kinds of cool stuff. Obviously this channel's brand new. Really appreciate it, you guys watching this channel. And be sure, if you like more of this type of stuff, be sure to subscribe because we're going to be doing everything from display cases to working on cars to driving cars. So be sure to check it out. Once again, really appreciate it.